So Gabriel Kumi is the Vice President of the LPG Marketers Association of Ghana. Now, there's a critical phase in global discussions in recent times regarding the future governance of the digital world. Here in Ghana, hundreds of institutions and individuals are leveraging on the power of the internet. A second global multi-stakeholder meeting on the future of the internet governance, building upon the meeting held in Brazil in 2014, has been held. There's now a strong push to build a strong coalition of partners across the globe with a common goal of developing concrete proposals for the further evolution and implementation of the multi-stakeholder approach for an accountable, diverse, and inclusive governance of the digital world. To join me in studio to have a conversation on this is the Executive Director of Child Online Africa, Awo Aidam Amenya. We've already started having our conversation already. Now, you want to focus on children. Why is it relevant for us to check what sort of information we pass on to kids?
Okay, so thank you for the opportunity. The focus on children is key because hitherto, when the internet deployment and everything started, very little focus was given to them as stakeholders. But from our interaction with young people, they form a critical mass of consumers, a third of the world's consumers in the space. So clearly, they needed to be consulted. However, that consultation could not be based on, could not be held in a vacuum. It should be based on facts. It should be based on information. And this information to young people also requires some level of effort to be put in by adults. Because clearly when we speak big jargons up there, it's not all of them that understand. So how do we break down that discourse to the level of young people in order to solicit their input into discussions or global, more like general discussion for effect? So it's the reason why. And personally, if you ask me, geography, math, English language, and what have you, have all been transmitted through the digital platform.
Okay.
So it's important that the information children receive, especially from the digital platforms, are reliable.
Okay.
And appropriate.
Okay.
Yes. Other than that, we're going to be feeding them with concussions.
But how do we check that? Do the kids have access to mobile phones? How do we check that, in fact, all the information they are getting through that means is accurate and something that is meant for them?
Yes. So for me, the best check for that is media literacy and critical thinking.
Okay.
I personally do not subscribe to the concept of fact-checking. Why? If you ask children to go onto a website to fact-check an information or rely on Meta to get factual information, you are limiting their creativity. And it's more like you are even introducing them to just the ideology of Meta or whichever social media platform you are using as fact-checking platform to solicit for information. So for me, clearly, media literacy, where children receive information, they are able to digest it, analyze it by themselves, and come up with their own perspectives, is the way to go. That also enables their critical thinking abilities.
Okay.
In the world now, if I tell you with the work we are doing, or the work I do, I have realized that we have just two types of information if we don't allow children to decipher their own information. Those two types of information is either somebody's opinion or ideologies or somebody's agenda.
That's why you don't like fact-checking?
Yes.
But fact-checking is
it's
to
not
really
like I don't like fact-checking because of that. However, I just said that fact-checking limits the creativity of young people. Because if you give an information, for instance, to a group of young people, the understanding may vary. However, it points to the same outcome at the end of the day. So clearly, if we want to allow young people to evolve, we want to allow young people to unearth their creativity, it's important for us to allow them to think critically about something, bring the information down to the level at which they could understand it. That's why terms and conditions, we fought for it to be made child-friendly and short. Hitherto, it was so scanty that you and I even find it difficult to read when we are signing on to a platform. But now it's a bit eligible. You could read and understand what it is. And now we can even tell, okay, this is the information which is being gathered from me when I'm signing up on a particular platform. So clearly, at the end of the day, it's a win-win for us. Platform owners, consumers are all a par at the end of the day. And that's how it's supposed to be when it comes to internet governance.
When parents are now critical as to what our children consume, and we are saying that we have to allow the kids to really make do with what they can with the information available, how do we juxtapose that? A parent trying to safeguard what my kid sees on the internet and also trying to develop his mindset, and so I say, okay, have access to it. How do we do it? How do we balance the two?
You know that as a parent, you're looking at things from the best interest of the child.
Exactly.
So clearly, that cannot be an infringement. It is only when it contravenes that rule, then it becomes an infringement.
Okay.
So information, I'm not talking about inappropriate information,
but we're
talking about right information, legit information. So we want to have that discourse with children. We want to allow them to unearth their creativity. Often it's even not parents who even hinder these children from expressing their views. It's been us, maybe civil society or a group of people somewhere who have the privilege of dealing with young people, and then they put them together and impose their views on them. They say, oh, when they ask you this, say this. When you go there, or when they ask you that, say this.
Okay.
It shouldn't be the case. Rather, we downgrade the information to their level. Even if it should be in, I work with children a lot, so sometimes I even need to allow them express themselves through the arts. Because some of them cannot express themselves well enough, but they could express themselves in drawing. So you allow them to express themselves that way, and then you pick the information.
So even their homework, we don't need to do it for them.
Yes.
We have to allow them.
You have to assist them in doing it, not do it for them.
All right. But in the discussion around the Net Mondial Plus 10,
yes,
the focus was too much on reliable information around climate change. Why was that the case?
Yes, that was it because from the research that was done, it's been realized that a lot of misinformation has gone very far with climate change. So in the course of that discussion, bearing in mind that there are a host of stakeholders there, they felt it's very important for us now to resituate that discussion in such a way that we get the facts across rather than the misinformation or disinformation which has gone far. So it would interest you to know that most of the countries that participated in Net Mondial Plus 10 are now going back to relook at some of the information that was passed on, and will try to seek how to redress the mis and disinformation parts and put people on the right course. And maybe also try to direct people to the right source of information. Yes.
Okay, interesting. What's Ghana's situation? What's the situation in this country?
If you ask me, I would say that it leaves much to be desired for us. If we cannot focus on media literacy and critical thinking. I was in a stakeholder discussion the other day, and I raised the concern that it looks like we throw words about. So you said digital literacy, and then banks are undertaking digital literacy, schools are undertaking digital literacy, and non-formal education is also doing digital literacy. You ask yourself, what is digital literacy? But when you look at the constituents of such discourse, you could see that one could be digital readiness rather than digital literacy, because that's what they need. Now, using internet or
What's the difference? What's the difference? Then maybe we can move on.
How to use a mobile phone, how to send an email and all of that. That's digital literacy.
Okay.
Now, if I'm going to introduce a group of consumers, traders, to a particular literacy, for them to be able to make input into their savings and all of that, that is more like digital readiness than literacy.
Okay.
So you are preparing them. So that readiness entails a bit of cyber security and a bit of literacy.
Okay. Okay.
So when we situate conversation well enough, we use the right lexicons for it, we'll be achieving that goal. And for me, which is why I said there's a lot to be done as far as our country is concerned, because we haven't been able to put things in their right perspective. And until we do that, we'll just be throwing words about and confusing one another here and there. So I would say that there's a need for us to put more into media literacy and critical thinking for children, because they are the future of this country. So at the educational level, even geography will depend on media literacy. Science will depend on media literacy. English language will depend on media. So that is what we have to be doing.
Okay. So, I mean, it comes to the responsibility of people then. What's the responsibility of stakeholders in this?
Stakeholders are to provide resources. Stakeholders are to provide enabling environments for this to happen. Stakeholders are to build capacity, because the constituents we're talking about, you know, they are not working. They are there, but we need to provide for them.
Yeah.
And those same constituents will have to be protected at the end of the day. So we are giving them information, but the information have to be safeguarded, or there should be guardrails for that information. Then we also need to ensure that they are understanding the information, because you can put something there assuming that it's making sense, but it's not making sense to them. So getting their feedback is key. And in all of this, parents have a place a role to play. Government has a role to play. Government, which includes educational institutions and all of that. Civil society has a role to play. Even you, media, you have a role to play. Yes, you need to give us airtime. Let's put information out there and let children know that this is what is right and this is the accurate information you need to have.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it's all of us at the end of the day, even the children themselves, because they need to be responsible at the end of the day when they are engaging.
So if I'm watching the show now and I'm a parent, what do? I pick up the phone and probably go and look for information and say, what can you do with this, or where do we begin?
So when you're a parent watching me now, you could visit our website, childonline.org, toolkit. There is targeted information. There are a lot of resources that parents can rely on. You can even walk to your service provider. Maybe you are a subscriber to any of the mobile network, and then ask them for information with regards to whatever you are confronted with. They will give you accurate and up-to-date information. You can even get to Cybersecurity Authority website and also get information there which will be accurate and reliable. And all these are also on the other social platforms like the Facebook and Meta, Facebook and Twitter, X now.
X now, all right. Let's see how it goes. So your website, you said it's Child Online?
Africa.org.
Africa.org, okay.
Yes,
all
and
right.
when you go under resources, you find a host of. And we have a WhatsApp channel, which we share updates on as well, which is 057 1 00 0001.
Okay. I mean, I've just gone to the childonlineafrica.org,
So
and I'm sure when I go there, I can get a lot of things.
Host a lot of even
parents,
training courses that you could take.
Okay, so parents can go there and then be equipped for the future.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I'm grateful to you for joining.
Thank you too for having me.
All right, so let's see how that goes. But just before we conclude, Nananom of the Gomwa Fete School have condemned the shooting incident that led to the death of Lance Corporal Michael Danso at the Kaswa Millennium City over a land dispute. Addressing a press conference on Tuesday, Trafohen of Gomwa Asin Traditional Council, who doubles as the chief of Gomwa Fete, Nana Abor Atta, condemned the shooting incident.
of Gumwafe Test 2 land. Here we wish to take this opportunity to talk about the unfortunate incident which happened at the Millennium City area, which fall within Gumwafe Test 2 land. You may have heard that there was a shooting incident on Tuesday, 30th April 2024, around the Millennium City police station. It has come to our attention that such a regrettable incident, which led to the death of Lance Corporal Michael Dansun, occurred as a result of individual land dispute between a member of soldiers and a civilian. The alleged perpetrator, Nana Berima Abebiu, known in private life as Ben Lord Abebiu, happens to be the Jasihin of Gumwa Bantama Millennium City, suburb of Gumwa Fete, and a surveyor to the Gumwa Fete 2 land. At this stage, we wish to once again express our deepest regret about the unfortunate incident. We hereby condemn such incident. Also, we wish to extend our heartfelt condolence to the Ghana Armed Forces and the bereaved family who have lost their loved one as a result of the unfortunate incident. We wish at this juncture to express our profound gratitude to you, ladies and gentlemen of the press, for honoring our invitation. Thank you.